What's good, YouTube? Steel here, and at the time of this recording, Top Cut for the ETC Pocket Weekly number 27 has yet to be played out, so the official standing on the deck that we're covering today is unknown. However, this Arceus Crobat deck managed to go undefeated, 8-0 in Swiss against quite the variety of competition. So with some free time in my hands, I decided to take it into ranked and try it out for myself. And as you can see here, I'm currently on an 8-game win streak with the deck, and I decided I had to make a video on this because as someone who's always been a believer of Arceus Carnivine, if you look at past videos I've made, I used it in basically every format since it's been a thing. So I felt like I had to do my part in showing y'all what might be the best way to play the deck right now. So let's get to the card by card. So as you can see here, we're playing 2 Carnivine, 2 Zubat, 2 Crobat, no Golbat in between because of rare candy, 2 Arceus, 1 Communication, the 2 rare candies I mentioned, 2 Pokeballs, a Cape, 2 Research, Iono, Leaf, Cyrus, and Mars. For starters, cards like Carnivine and Skarmory continue to be great in the meta, as dealing 50 as early as turn 1, your turn 1. If you're going second, it's huge, but even going first, as long as you start dealing 50, there's a lot of decks that can't keep up with that speed, whether it's they don't heal enough or they just don't have enough output to deal with the speed of dealing 50 from the beginning. Not to mention that you're obviously building up extra damage or a finisher in the backline. Rare Candy has really put this deck on to another level, as the ability to bring out Crobat a turn sooner than you usually would, because although it's technically the same amount of cards because you're playing Zubat, it would have been, the rare candies would have been Golbats. The ability to do it 1 turn earlier allows for a very fast and aggressive alternative to the fast link Rotom, because most the list that we use Arceus before, it used to be Carnivine, Arceus EX obviously, and then you would use 1 Rotom and then 1 additional card, whether it was the Rotom Electric or a Farfetch or something like that, something small, right? Now we're able to use Crobat as that pivot of the free retreat, and it's also dealing the 30 damage, so it's so much better. The ceiling gets so much higher. And for Arceus, besides enabling the different link abilities, clearly, you just have to build it up in the backline until it's ready to finish out the game or close it out. For supporters and items, Iono and Communication are basically an effort into maximize consistency, as the deck not only wants to find the pieces for rare candy into Crobat, but also if you don't have Arceus, the deck doesn't essentially do anything, because Carnivine starts swinging for 20, Crobat can't ping for anything. Also, I didn't mention, we are playing just Grass Energy, so this Crobat is never attacking. The Zubat, however, can, and it hits Giratina and Cosmog for super effective damage. It does come up, it's come up, at least for me, in the 8 games that I've played the deck. As far as the supporter toolbox that you see at the end of the list, I can't really speak directly to the reason behind them, because this list does come from the ETC Weekly. It's piloted by Peping Mexico, I guess is their name. It's Peping MX. But their intentions are pretty clear. As always, we had to play Leaf in an Arceus build, because if you get hard stuck with it as your opener, you have to get it out of the way, or you end up being way too slow. You go from one of the most aggressive decks to one of the most do nothing decks. So Leaf definitely fixes that. As for Cyrus and Mars, they're both some of the most used trainer cards in the game, and they have the reason to be, because they both serve as disruption early or mid game to being able to close out games when you Mars them down to 1 card before they go into their end turn. Or obviously Cyrus, you bring it out to just close out games as it's always done. Cards that are not in this list that I could see finding a spot, depending on where the format goes, is Guzma to remove cards like Poison Barb and Rocky Helmet, as trying to be aggressive with Carnivine could get a little complicated, or you have to be a little more I guess passive if they have the Rocky Helmet, because you also don't just want to attack yourself to death. So getting rid of cards like that, or even a Cape, so you're in range to knock things out, comes in huge. It's an example is in the Charizard deck. There's the Incineroar Charizard deck. They play Guzma to get rid of Capes and stuff, so that your Solgaleos and stuff aren't able to dodge the range of being one shot basically. Geo's another card that you can see play in this list, mainly because being able to make Carnivine hit for 60 is able to basically close out games earlier than usual on cards like Cosmog, Riolu, Charmander, Rockruff, Sprigatito, and the list goes on and on. Magnemite, whatever people are playing that making 50 go to 60 is able to knock them out. However, I could see that being a little too greedy, especially since post turn 1, besides making your Carnivine hit for 60 to knock out that very first Pokemon. Once you establish Crobat, you don't really need cards like Red or Geo in this list, because that 30 damage from Crobat is more than any of these other supporter cards are doing. And then random cards to throw out there, because honestly I could go on and on for the cards that you could essentially put in this deck. You could even play Oricorio, as it is another body to just not only buy you time for your Arceus, but realistically it could put certain decks into either a standstill or completely lock them out. as Crobat just pings them down and they have no answer, if they have no answer, right? Ultimately, I just wanted to take the time to highlight a deck that is not only crushing the tournament scene and it's going 8-0 is not an easy task, but also doing great in the rank ladder for myself, as it's probably the best deck that's been working for me since making it into Master Ball. Best of luck to Peping, or whatever, however you pronounce his name, in Top Cut, and let's get into some gameplay. But before we do, if you're new here, I go by Men of Steel. I post all things Pokemon Pocket, from meta reports to expert solo battle guides, and this season I like to focus a little bit more, or at least post some more ranked Master Ball content. So if any of that is of interest to you, please consider subscribing, as there is so much more to come, and above all else, stay pro. All right, going second, which is ideal in this deck. And let's see here. We are missing Arceus, but other than that, this hand is beautiful. We do have research also to find it. So yeah, as soon as we find Arceus, oof, against a Darkrai. Okay, this is like prime time. What this deck can do. So hopefully it works out. So I can show y'all. Like, just seeing it is like, oof, I'm hyped. All right, they got their research, so they're not hitting us with Mars. Although Mars would have been crazy, right? Like, mad greedy. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wait, what if they red card? I've seen some crazy things in rank these days, from like multiple Mars to, granted, it's all justified, right? Like, against, especially with the amount of rare candy decks that are out there. I see. This is where I was mentioning in the deck profile where like a Guzma would be great in this list, but all right. Let's go, baby. All right, we'll research here. I almost don't want to research to like make it like where they less likely for them to play anything, but honestly, this hand's a beauty. And the second Carnivine, we're just gonna be purely aggressive here. Why is it? Oh, it's. I hate how that doesn't let me do anything while it's giving me all these texts of like effects that are active. Yeah, we're not gonna miss a beat here. We don't care for poison. Like, obviously we do. Like, it's not ideal, but honestly, we're just here to... We could even, like... No, we can't Leaf and then Crobat. Like, we're fine. We're fine. Even if they heal here, they would need double potion or, like, Pokemon Center Lady and potion. Because just any type of healing, like minimal healing, is not enough, because we're going to be tagging them for 30. So we make up for the Pokemon Center Lady. We more than make up for potion. They would need both of them. Alright, there's one. Do they have another? Okay, this is probably game. I say probably. This is like guaranteed game, right? You go rare candy. I'm telling you, this deck feels so good to use. You Cunning Link there. Make up for the healing that they did. There's even a world where we could like swap these out. But I think we're fine. Like, I think we're better off like building up the Arceus. Oof, this even gives us this. I think that's the better way. I usually hold cape for the Arceus, especially in this matchup, so that once it goes in, they can't like one-shot it. Like, the 160 is healthy enough, but giving that Carnivine that extra turn and still being able to build up Arceus, I feel goes a longer way. Because had we wasted the turn swapping between Carnivines, not only is our Arceus one turn like late to being built up, this one would have gotten poison as well, so it's like not worth it, right? Rocky Helmet. At this point, they would need Leaf, right, to like get out of there. Because we're always doing this. The question is how aggressive we want to be, or do we just want to put ourselves in a position where Arceus wins next turn? Because we have two options, right? We could Mars them down to 3, making like where they're most likely to lose whatever they're trying to build up. Or we could swap these, hit them for 50. If we don't attack, the issue is that they could just like Darkrai. But if we swap them, hit for 50, puts them to 70, everything's kind of healthy. We have the extra turn to do Arceus. Okay, I'm gonna do that play instead. Let's go here. We're gonna use Leaf, and the reason we're using Leaf is to preserve the energy on both of them, so that next turn we could commit to the Arceus, right? And being at 2 cards, like if they want to Mars us back, like we're fine with that. If they use Leaf, then they can't Mars. If what else? There's like so many plays that we're fine with. Yeah, we assumed that they were gonna leave. So maybe like the Arceus was the correct play. But here's where I think Mars is gonna come clutch. Potion. Okay, so they're playing around the Cyrus. Luckily, this Giratina does not have Rocky Helmet, so we could attack it with no issue whatsoever. And then this is a play where clearly we're gonna go attack with Carnivine, but get into the get used to the idea of always sending Crobat to the front. Since it has free retreat cost, it gives you like the perfect pivot at all times. So here we'll go Pokeball. Go here, give Arceus the second energy. So although Mars here changes the same 2 cards, like gives trades 2 cards for 2 cards, maybe we Iono instead. But we're always doing retreating into this, and we're always hitting them with Cunning Link. I guess Mars doesn't do anything, and then Iono and Mars here are the same thing. So let's just go. Alright, that Crobat is dead as hell, but it's okay. We should be in a position where we win next turn no matter what. Unless I'm missing something, right? Because even if they were to cape a Darkrai and put out Darkrai, yeah, you see, even if they do this and add cape, we hit them for 130. We're literally like, I was literally explaining exactly the line of play that they have. Yeah, Crobat hits for 30 and Arceus hits for 130. Like the only way they survive here is if they play blue or something. Yeah, so it's GG's. Pretty cool that we were able to call out exactly what, like, how the line wouldn't have mattered regardless. But that always feels good. That game maybe was a little sloppy towards the end. I could have just sacrificed the Carnivine I had active and built up Arceus and just made sure I closed that out the following turn. But I felt like we were in a position where we couldn't lose no matter what. So anyways, GG's to our opponent, and let's keep on going. All right. We're on a good streak in terms of going second. All right. And wow. Okay. And again, another dark deck. So you got to assume we are going second, so we do risk getting Marsed, but I rather risk the Mars early and not get hit with Mars later in the game than just get hit with... If we had Leaf in hand, I'd have put this Arceus down almost as bait. But since we don't have the Leaf, I'd rather hold Arceus in hand. And if they want to Mars it away, I'll take my chances on drawing it again. Like, I fear Sabrina getting locked and just having no option, then Mars making it where I gotta hope for the card. Because at least I would still be able to attack, right? In the situation where they Mars me. Unlike... Or red card. Yeah, same difference. Funny enough, I mentioned red card in the game before, but you see, if we get Arceus here, we're fine. If we don't, well, we still got a chance, right? With research. Had they had Sabrina, it would have been so much worse. Is all I can say. Let's go here. Now what we're hoping for is a Pokemon put alongside Arceus, because otherwise then we're still back at the same situation as earlier. But this time we have to risk it. Unfortunate. I could technically communication this Crobat away and hope for... although we have the rare candy Crobat, I think we gotta, if we're gonna commit, we gotta commit to playing around the Sabrina. Granted, if this gives us the second Crobat or Arceus, we feel really bad. But in this case, much better. I think it was worth the risk. Again, we're playing around Sabrina, right? That's like the card I put in my head that I'm afraid of. So you gotta respect it. And now they're down to 3. They have the 2 cards in hand and whatever they draw. And if they don't have healing, it could be over as soon as like right now, right? And then, not to mention, if we see the Crobat off the top, we're also in the money. Although there's just something about Darkrai players that they always have the healing. And that's like me included, because I've played this deck countless times. Yeah. We are a Crobat away from knocking this out anyways. But we also have to like respect it. Bro, y'all not gonna believe. You're gonna think I'm just posting highlights. And yes, I believe it's aggressive. Like, if they have their own Darkrai, we get put in an awkward spot. Like, if they have another one. But I think it's worth just getting rid of this Darkrai right now. We are another one of their Darkrai's away from just, like, losing our Carnivine. And we lose a lot of our pace. But you have to strike while the iron's hot, basically. And we're down to just one card in hand. This Giratina, even if they have the Darkrai, this Giratina can't do anything currently. Really hoping they don't see the Darkrai. We are in top deck mode though, because we saw like exactly what we needed. Granted, they red carded us, so it's almost low key on them as well. Yeah, no Darkrai. This is game. We will actually. Do we? I don't think we attack here, right? I don't want to Iono either. We gotta think what the best... Because if we attack here, Carnivine goes down to 10. And then they pass turn, it's gone. But we put them down so low, and we have Cyrus in hand. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Again, strike when the iron's hot. But again, it's another game where it proves that having, like, let's imagine if this Cyrus, although these two, I wouldn't cut either of these two cards, right? But if one of them was Guzma, I honestly don't know how to pronounce that card. Yeah, GG's. Honestly, this deck does so well. Well, Carnivine's always done well against Darkrai decks, right? So GG's to our opponent. I might put this part in here just so y'all see it's not scripted. We were literally 10 win streak. We're killing it right now. Go back into it. All right, so at this point, we've done pretty well to show what the deck could do, but we kept going against Darkrai Giratinas, so I'm just keeping it running until I see something else. And unfortunately, although maybe not so unfortunate, we do need to see Leaf. That's one thing for sure. Like, we cannot deal damage to this thing. However, oof, if there's Leaf off the top here, Leaf Carnivine, that's all we need. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I even think it's worth putting all of it down, because if we get double Crobat here, they won't be able to attack for a while. Like, next turn they charge, we charge, they charge, hit us for 50, and we could get Arceus out of the way if we need to. Yeah, let's do that. Ideally, we want to see Leaf, whether it's off the top or... Although, in this matchup, granted, it depends what they're mixing the Oricorio with. I guess we'll see, because double Pokeball, they'll definitely see something other than the bird. The good thing is that the second we see Leaf, like if we see Leaf off the top, we just completely body them. Alright, research is great there, because that means they're not Marsing. Okay, so it's Greninja, Bird. What? Is it just Greninja and Bird? Bro, y'all gonna think it's scripted, dude. Man, it's like, I feel like it's ruining the... Like, trust me, this deck is this fire. I'm aware that you're not gonna draw this well. Like, nobody draws this well. This is crazy. This deck is showing out, but it's you're seeing the peak of this deck, or like what makes it so fun, I guess. Bro, this guy's is probably sick to his stomach. Bro, we're not scared of birds here. We're not scared of frogs. We're not scared of Darkrai, whatever that is. Ghost, I guess. We're not scared of ghosts. Spirits, anything. We are Arceus. Literally, whatever they put it forward, they just... Bro, this is insane. Like, honestly, the reason I'm making this video is because this is how well it's been going for me with this deck. But, do I just keep going until I lose? Like... Hey, like, look at this. 11 game win streak. It's all been with this deck, I promise y'all. Like, well, at least you've seen the last 3, right? So, always send your thanks, by the way. I don't know why they make us click so many things to get out of this, but whatever. As you can see here, 11 game win streak. We're up to 405 in the spot. Well, I guess we'll keep on going till we lose. I'll even show the loss. How about that? unless it goes too long. Currently, I'm according to my recording, we're like 15 minutes in. But yeah, we'll just keep it going until we lose, and I'll be like, there you go. But and that game, granted we did drop deck the Leaf. We even had the bad start of having Arceus at the front, right? So we could always recover, and we went first. That's another thing, bro. That's crazy. All right. So now we're against it, right? We're going first against the Darkrai Giratina. They have advantage on charging energy. That makes our aggression feel a lot worse. And they open the bird. Bro, I can't make this stuff up. Can't make this stuff up. It's one of those where I want to be greedy in Pokeball, but we have to research because we want to see Carnivine, we want to see a Crobat, and we want to see Arceus. Bro, I swear to God, if this Pokeball is Arceus, I might have to end the video right here. If this Pokeball is Arceus. Dude, this deck is gross. And then next turn, all we have to do is Rare Candy, Crobat, free retreat. Oh my goodness. I am sick. Honestly, we deserve to get Marsed. I do not deserve this hand. This is crazy. There's Darkrai, but well deserved. Poison Barb. Not going to do what you think it does. If one of those two cards is not Red Card or Mars, they're in for a bad time. Wait for it, wait. This is just gross. Granted, we are going to get poisoned, and that's no fun, but there's a second Arceus. Technically, we could throw it back into the pile and see what it gets us, but we could also just hold it. And again, there's also the option where we leave the bird up front, but we don't want to give him time, especially in this matchup. Like, you just want to be as aggressive as possible. And I think I'll hold this hand. Being able to communication for an alternative at some point is good, as well as Iono. You never know. Realistically, we don't want to Iono blindly unless it benefits us. Mars, we could do it early blindly depending on the situation. Granted, not with a 2-card hand, right? But more and more, I was like, granted, I keep saying like, oh, I wish I had Guzma, but Guzma, whatever. But it never actually comes up. Like, it hasn't come up where it like mattered. But like ultimately, it hasn't mattered. But yeah, it's definitely a card I wish we had access to. All right, our Cyrus is gonna be a killer later on. And this Carnivine is going to go down to 40. We swing. It goes down to 30. It's going to die on their turn. Like, coming back to us. You can't make this up, dude. I'm going to stick with the Carnivine that's in the front, though. I'm not worried about that. We need the Arceus built up. We learned it from the earlier games, so we're learning here, right? We're adapting to the games. Earlier, we decided to be a little more conservative with the health of our Carnivines, and it was to... Like, it didn't benefit us to do so. Now they do have the option to hard retreat into Darkrai, but at that point, I think it's game over, right? Like, if they completely sacrifice the energy on their Darkrai. Also, thanks to Crobat, we just need a hit. We just need 2 Pokemon in the bench to knock out Darkrai. Let's see what they decide to do. If they decide to retreat with Giratina, are they going to try to build up a Giratina? That's awfully greedy, right? Let's see what we get here. We gotta think like, oh, they have a card in hand. Like, what could it be? I want to drop down this Arceus. I'm going to Iono here. And we're looking for something very specific. Are we? Okay, what would be something specific? Like another basic, maybe? Because these cards right now don't do nothing. And I didn't want a communication for a different basic than Arceus, although it'd be ideal to have like a Zubat here. Because if it gave us a Crobat, then we're in really a tough shape. And do we want to risk giving them... What could we give them in the... Probably, I don't know. Let's Iono. And the reason I want Iono is because all three cards in our hand right now are dead. Although, did we just get the same cards? I think our win condition is still this. Yeah, we need to build up Arceus. Worst case scenario, the card in their hand is Cyrus. And they get rid of Crobat, and even then, we might be fine. I just hope we didn't Iono them into the Cyrus, right? And if it's not Cyrus, I don't see how we lose. I guess if they don't attack... No, if they don't attack, they're just as much in danger. Like, nothing happens. We're able to actually attack with the Carnivine next turn. Yeah, they definitely don't have Cyrus because they wouldn't be thinking so much about it. They're not even attacking with Giratina this turn. Although they could swap into the Darkrai in the back, right? But we already mentioned how that's game. Unless... If they have Cape this time around, we would have to draw the third Pokemon on the bench. Alright, so at least I feel better that it's clearly no Cyrus. Because if they had Cyrus, they would have pulled out Crobat and hit us for 20 with the... What in the world? I guess we can't retreat, right? Unless... Are we top decking Leaf again, boys? Are we top decking Leaf again? And... Okay, no, it's not Leaf. Clearly the two cards in their hand didn't do anything, so I don't want a Mars here. I guess we research, right? There's no reason not to. Like, yeah, it's baiting out, like, getting completely bodied by... something. Okay, that's the other card we needed, so... I guess we just get aggressive like this. And at this point, there's so many cards that win us the game. And there's no... At least there's no visible way I see of us losing this. Although, once again... Okay, no, because now if they want to retreat, they have to give the energy to Giratina, meaning they can't kill Crobat once again. And they use research, so there's no Cyrus. Yeah, this is a wrap. Honestly, I commend them for trying, because they definitely did a whole bunch of loops. But again, it's such a matchup where if the only way we lose against this matchup, I believe, especially if it's just like if we lead Arceus and don't have a way to get it out, and they just build up their entire board, there we just lose. And granted, the win condition is just putting Arceus up and attacking. But again, I want y'all to get into the habit of always putting your Crobat up front because it has free retreat. Crobat, not Zubat, Crobat. Alright, then we commit this to the board. Actually, you know what? I'm not into the... I don't like showboating, so let's just... We have lethal on board, let's just use lethal on board. If they had Cape, clearly we have to put down the Zubat. But here they're at 110. They didn't use blue or nothing. Clearly we could go for more damage and other stuff like that. GG's. Honestly, this deck's insane. Like I said, we could keep playing until we lose, but then maybe y'all see an hour-long video and don't want to click on it. Like, I hope y'all get the point. It's technically... I wish there was more variety in what I saw, but to what point do we just play? Honestly, you guys just trust me. I went against a lot of different decks. Honestly, you don't go on a 12-game win streak just on Darkrai's and Giratinas. Also, I'm surprised how many Darkrai's and Giratinas there is. But as you see, we could take down Oricorios. We could take down Darkrai Giratina. That's all y'all saw. But again, 12-game win streak. This deck's insane. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Shout out to the player that was using it in the RC Day Weekly. The Pepin, I think is how you pronounce it. And I'm saying it like that because they are from Mexico. So I throw my Hispanic pronunciation to that. But regardless, I hope y'all enjoy it. If you want to see more Master Ball rank content, I could try my own list. I could also go through RC Day Weekly seeing decks that did well. Like there was a Charizard and Incineroar deck that I found interesting. However, its matchups, unlike this deck that went against so many, was only against Darkrai Giratina and Charizard, like and mirror matches, which I guess it's ironic coming from me, given that I just kept going against Dark-Red Giratinus. But nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed, please consider subscribing as more contents here come. There's a meta report that should be out tomorrow, as well as the expert solo battle guys will continue to roll through as I make them. And above all else, stay pro.